So here's my infrared camera. It's a FLIR C2 camera. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, I'm really hot. The white hot. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see it. Well, anyways, the screen, I wanted to show you the screen. The screen's pretty big. And the thing itself is, you fit in your pocket. So here's my pocket, right? And the wire is just a connection to the computer. You can download your pictures through the cable. But the infrared camera is really cool. So as you can see, there's something funky going on at the table. So I don't know if you have an infrared camera, but it's kind of like a flashlight. It helps, an infrared camera helps a home inspector do better inspections, plain and simple. There are many infrared cameras out there. Some are very expensive. Some are like the FLIR C2. I think the price is less than $500. That's a really low entry cost to add infrared to your inspections and your brand and your services. For me personally, I was a home inspector in Pennsylvania for a dozen years, and we distinguished ourselves from all the rest because we invested in infrared. And that was 12, 13 years ago. I bought an infrared camera for $5,000 on my credit card. That's how expensive they are. 10 times less now. So it's really great. And you have to become certified. You have to get trained and certified because, as you can see, there's a lot to look at, right? So what are you looking at in this picture? And if you don't know, that's okay. There's plenty of training available. We have online training, which is free for all members. And we have live hands-on classroom training. So you can get that as well. There's some in our chapter events, at our convention coming up, at the House of Horrors locations, where we have inspectors just coming on by and testing the tools that we have, the equipment, including infrared cameras. So we have really expensive cameras, we have inexpensive cameras. My advice is to get into using the infrared technology by going cheap. You start off low and slow, and you just add it to your service. And be careful with your interpretation. You know, I never look at this and go, whoa, right? Never. You always be quiet, right? Be quiet until you can actually evaluate what the heck is going on, until you can confirm what you see. So what do you see in this infrared image? Well, there's three things I'm really interested in. One is something hot, one something cold, and one is blended in the background and it's hidden. And they're all water, right? One is a hot cup of water right here. There. One is a cold cup of water right here. And one is about 25 fluid ounces of water and is kind of like the background. So it's hidden in the background. So cool water, for me as a home inspector, could be an indication of a plumbing leak or groundwater penetrating, intruding into the structure, because groundwater is cool. Hot water, that could be, again, the water source leaking, hot water source. Or it could be, I could be looking at a wall or a ceiling and commenting on the building envelope. Maybe there's energy efficiency issues with insulation. And then there's water there that tends to blend in the background. And that's just a warning, right? There's 25 ounces of water and you can't even see it really with the infrared camera because it's the same temperature. So what an infrared camera does, it doesn't see through things. Doesn't see through that wall, right? It only sees surface temperature. So you have to interpret what you're seeing. There's also some other crazy stuff, like if I shine this to the window here, this is my webinar room, and we have a window here. You actually see me. in the glass, right? And you can't really see through it, right? There's reflecting stuff on the glass. So glass really messes you up. You could take a look at the window and go, whoa, there's something hot going on. It's just your reflection. There's a lot of different things like that. But basically, you're looking at temperature. And I will reinforce this. It doesn't matter what infrared camera you're holding in your hand. Infrared helps a home inspector do a better job. It's similar to, it allows, why? Why does an infrared camera help me as a home inspector do a better inspection? Because it allows me to see things that I wouldn't normally be able to see without it. This camera is allowing me to see things that I really wouldn't be able to see and understand without using it. It's similar to my flashlight, right? My flashlight allows me to see things that I wouldn't normally be able to see without it. That's a dark attic space, unfinished attic space. Can't really see everything, but if I use my flashlight, it allows me to see things that I wouldn't normally be able to see without it. That's all it is, really. This is not mentioned in the standards of practice. This is actually not mentioned in the standards of practice. They both exceed the standards of practice. So we'll talk about the standards of practice in the upcoming class, about following it and exceeding it. So the cool thing about infrared, an infrared camera, and water, it's like they're perfect for each other, because water tends to, it has this capacity, it's called. It has a capacity to hold energy for a long time, and it holds a lot of energy, and it's slow to change. So if you get a puddle of water and it's cool, right, it's not really going to warm up to room temperature quickly. It's going to stay cool. And that's great for me as a home inspector using infrared, because it allows me a large window of opportunity to see things that are different temperatures. If it's the same temperature as the room, like this bottle of water that we couldn't see with the infrared, I can manipulate the environment using the HVAC system, for example. Turn on the heat, and that room temperature water will just pop out at you, because it has an enormous amount of capability to hold energy. It doesn't change temperature very quickly, and it is the one substance in a house that reflects the most infrared. It's amazing. It's the one substance in the house that holds the most energy out of all the typical things that we see. Holds the most energy. It's slow to change temperature, and it emits an enormous amount of infrared. And that's the beauty of using this simple, inexpensive infrared camera. It allows me to see things that helps me do a better home inspection that I wouldn't normally be able to see without it. No big deal. And there's a lot of training opportunities out there. There's a lot of classes and hands-on stuff. I'm biased. I like InterNACHI training to be infrared certified. Why? Well, because it's online. You don't have to blow off home inspection work, and it's free to members. So class starts in just 3 minutes, but I wanted to share with you that infrared, and we're going to perform a home inspection. So we had about 200 students register for the class today. Don't worry if you have to go on a job or pick up the phone to schedule a home inspection. The class is being recorded. I'll email you the link to the video recording. And this is how to perform a home inspection, class number 28. It's March 20th. My name is Ben Gromicko. I'm from InterNACHI. That's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. And there's our website right there. So welcome to class, everybody. And we're going to do a home inspection on this house. I performed it. I performed this home inspection on this house. I wrote the inspection report myself, and we're going to share that report with you. Why would you be taking this class? That's a good question. Well, if you are a brand new home inspector, there's a huge amount of benefit from following another home inspector, a master inspector, a certified master inspector, and to be mentored by another one without taking all that precious time that you have during the day to ride along. That's beneficial as well. But if you're unable to ride along with another inspector, there's really no formal program out there that I know of that's free and available to everyone. So this is the best that we can get, right? So we're going to do a home inspection. And if you're a new inspector, you're essentially riding along with me. I'm going to take you through a home inspection, how I personally do it, right? And that's what I want to share with you, how I do a home inspection. You could do it differently, but there's value in learning from others, like a mentor. If you are a veteran inspector, I'm going to tell you how to boost your business in a couple ways that you may not have thought of, right? I did home inspections for 12 years. You know, once you get to year 5, 7, you think you've seen everything. Well, maybe not, right? So this is valuable to you as well. So let's begin. Let me make sure the logistics are out of the way, right? Everybody should be able to see me. Everybody should be able to hear me. Feel free to tell me that everything's working on your end. Sometimes technology glitches. You can chat in the text area. You can say hello. You can ask questions. You can talk to other students during the class, after the class, whatever you'd like. All right? Thanks, Taylor. Awesome. Working in Virginia Beach. Oh, man, some people got the life. If you need help with anything in your business, there are, let's see, what are we up to now? 32 people that work at InterNACHI, and they work for you. Imagine the cost of hiring 32 people to help your business. That's essentially what you have when you are an InterNACHI member. And they're all on our contact page. I would suggest that if you have not spoken to some of the directors on the contact page, you've made a mistake. You're not taking full advantage of your membership benefits. Call up the marketing director. Ask Jessica, what can you do for me, for my business? Call up the membership director of communications, Lisa. Say, how's my account? Is everything okay? Things like that. NACHI.org/everything is a page that I created to share with you just about everything that's really important to any home inspector, any individual who wants to be a home inspector, any new home inspector, any veteran inspector who wants to boost their business. NACHI.org/everything. Go there. I chunked it into 15 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1 is join InterNACHI. Why is that step 1? Well, once you join InterNACHI, a whole world of opportunity opens up to you. That's how it's designed. And it's a monthly fee or yearly fee. And everything, just about everything, after that is no additional cost. And there's a huge advantage to that. Because if you want to become good at something, you have to learn how. You have to gain knowledge. And our courses are designed to actually also help you develop skills and abilities. So there's a huge advantage to being a member of InterNACHI, and that's step 1. If you want to make a good living, get a good job. Don't go into business if you want to make a good living. The only reason you go into business and take on all that it entails is to make a stack of cash, a stack of money. a lot of money to make a great living. So you can go on vacation, take your family, friends on a vacation somewhere for a week or two every year. Pay the bills, pay the mortgage, pay the car off. And then, you make a lot of money, and you can also do good things in the world as well. You're doing good by doing well. But if you don't want that stress, there's a little risk too of going into business all by yourself. Well, probably this isn't it, right? Getting a good job might be it. Or maybe you want to be a weekend warrior, do a 3-hour inspection on a Saturday and make a few $100s, and that's it. That's good too. You'll probably get convinced to go full time though, because that's the opportunity. That's how I started off. When I became a home inspector, I just did it on the weekend, right? About 4 hours of my time, left at 8, came back at noon with about $350 in cash back then in my pocket. And I remember I took my wife out and we got groceries. And my wife was convinced this is what we should do. I said, I think you're right. Because that's about $100 an hour. What other job out there is $100 an hour? They're really, you can't just jump in to a job out there, a good job that pays $100 an hour. That's going into business. You take a lot of risk and you have to do a lot of work, but the reward is great. Okay? That's the potential. To help you in your business, InterNACHI has a ton of resources that you can take advantage of. One of them, a lot of them are little small guidebooks that you can download for free, read in the evening instead of watching TV. I suggest you go to Home Depot tonight, get a nice hammer and smash your TV. Stop watching TV. You don't have it anymore. You don't have that luxury anymore. You don't have a favorite show that you watch every night anymore. You're in business. You have to dedicate your evenings to your business. You always have to be doing that, especially if you hire someone. You owe it to them to work at night. You no longer have binging TV shows. In fact, it's the other way around. You now want your competition to have favorite TV shows. You want them wasting their life at night, right? You want them to have a lot of TVs and playing games. You want your competition to be playing games on the weekend while you're working on your business, okay? So here's a guidebook written by my brother, founder of InterNACHI, and that's a huge URL, but it's worth it. Go to go to www.certifiedmasterinspector.org/stacks and download a home inspector's guide to increasing gross revenue. It's a really good guide. In this class, we can talk about anything you want, but we're going to talk about performing a home inspection. I'm going to take you through a home inspection that I do. We can talk about software, writing reports, business, scheduling, hiring new employees, branding and marketing. I'll show you a website. How do you calculate a profitable fee? How do you handle complaints? Standards of practice, code of ethics. How do you deal with real estate agents and get free inspection job leads from our lead generator? How do you reduce your liability, legal issues, anything you want? So just jump on in. I'm looking at the board for questions. Anytime you want to ask a question, go for it. I'll try to see it and help you guys out. All right? Shall we go ahead? All right. Here's a typical schedule for me. This is a typical one-day schedule. This is how it looks in my life as a home inspector. I'm no longer a home inspector, but I was for a dozen years. So at 7 o'clock, I wake up early, 6:30, leave my house at 7, 7:15, something like that, because my first inspection is at 8. And where I'm from, if you arrive on time, you're late. So I get to job 1 early. Job 2 is at noon, 12 o'clock. 8 a.m., 12 noon. And I want to get to the roof. Why? It's the hardest, most difficult, most dangerous thing. Yep. I want to get that out of the way. And it's the one thing that I do not ask my client to join me on. Come on up on the roof. I've never done that. No, I don't want anybody falling on the roof, falling off of the roof. So I inspect the roof first. And it's also, I don't have to bother the seller who's probably leaving, right? We often see each other. They're pulling out of their driveway. We may shake hands. I'll give them a card or 2 or 5 and explain what I'm doing here a little bit early. Take some pictures, look around, get a feel for the outside, and then try to get up on the roof as fast as I can. Because I want to actually be on the roof when my client shows up in the driveway. So I do the roof first. My client arrives. I'm coming down from the roof. The roof only takes 15, 20. If you're up there for a half an hour, man, that's a huge roof. Or something's wrong with the roof and you've got major problems, right? And even if there are major problems, you don't have to identify all of them. You just need to identify that there are major material defects up there and a roofer is needed, right? So a home inspection is not technically exhaustive. Neither is your home inspection report, right? You are in there fulfilling your client's expectations of performing a relatively quick assessment of the home and writing a report about your observations. If you want to stay all day, feel free. See how that works. If you want to write a 100-page report, 10,000 words, feel free. See how that works. The successful inspectors that I know and hang out with, there's a pattern to success in being a home inspector. And here's my pattern that I want to share. It may not fit how you do your job. That's okay. But at least I'm sharing how I did it in the past. I was really successful. So about 15 minutes, 20 minutes on the roof, 15 minutes, I do the exterior. I do a go around with the exterior with my client or without. And then I get to the really important part. And that's the meat of the inspection, so to speak. That's the HVAC system, the hot water tank, the water supply, the water coming in, drain going out, and the plumbing. And then there's the electrical panel. It's difficult to do. And the structure. That could be time consuming as well. After that, I feel like I'm actually done with the inspection. The rest of it is pretty simple. It's attic, interior, kitchen, garage, things like that. I'm done at 11. I finish my report, I provide a summary, and 11:01, I ask for my money. I ask for my money after I perform an inspection. It's just my style, my promise. It's kind of like a guarantee that you don't have to pay me. I'll be doing the inspection. And if you don't want to pay me, you don't pay me, right? Because I'm not asking for the money up front. 12 o'clock, maybe I could change my shirt, grab a bite to eat. I take my lunch, so I save money in that way. My overhead is low on lunch. I don't spend $10, $15 on lunch every day. I pack my lunch, and I arrive at job 2, and I make another $400. My standard rate was $400. And then ancillary inspections, that's where profit is, because that's an additional service that you can charge while you're there, and it doesn't take up more time. So if I can do $500 on my first inspection, $500 on my second inspection, that's $1,000 a day gross. I'm making good money. That's pretty good. And I'm back in the office. I'm ready for my next job. And I'm home at 4:30. Get to see my kids. It's a long day, but not bad. Not bad at all. At the end of the inspection, I print out a summary sheet. I actually bring a printer into the kitchen. I set it up before I go down to do the HVAC system. And down, I had basements where I performed inspections. So it was Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, we have basements. A lot, 70% of the United States has basements. The rest of it, you may have a crawl space or slab on grade. I print out a report summary. And there it is, excuse me. At this house that we're going to inspect, this one here, the report summary was really simple. There's some debris in the gutters, and the HVAC system wasn't serviced or cleaned, and the water conditioning system should be serviced and cleaned because it's beyond the scope of my inspection anyways. That's it. So you're asking, what is the value that I provided? I really didn't find anything wrong. That's the value. That's the value of an inspection. You don't have to find defects where they don't exist in order to be valuable. Your home inspection is valuable, right? Even if you on a brand new home and there's nothing wrong. So let's perform a home inspection. I get to the property early. I inspect the roof in about 15 minutes. On this house, yeah, in about 15 minutes. Now, there's a standards of practice, it's called. And the first section in the standards is roof. And that's the first section that I do. Kind of works out well. So go to nachi.org/SOP. The standards of practice is the foundation upon which you build your inspection service. It is the starting point to everything you do on site. Not your business. Your business plan handles how you operate a successful business. The SOP kind of defines how you perform a home inspection, a visual inspection of the home. And one thing you'll notice is if you go through the standards of practice, it's fairly minimal. There's some things that are absolutely required that you need to inspect. And then you'll find when you do inspections that you'll tend to exceed it, right, in various ways. But it's really up to you. Let's see, an example would be drip edge. If I'm going up to the roof on my ladder, as I get to the eave, the gutter edge, I'll pull up the shingles, if a shingle tab, I'll look at the underlayment. Underlayment and the drip edge, how it's installed, if it's installed properly or not. And if I can find a defect as I observe it, I'll put it in the report. That's exceeding the standards of practice. And I do that for every home. I exceed the standards of practice in a consistent manner for all my clients, so that one client doesn't feel cheated out on the other. And the other thing that I do is I try to go up on every roof. I try to walk upon every roof. The standards of practice does not require any home inspector to walk upon any roof. That's the InterNACHI standards of practice. You have to check your state. If you're in a state or a province or a country that's regulating home inspectors, your standards of practice may say that you are required to walk upon the roof, provided it is deemed to be safe by the inspector. So I would say that's your way out if you don't want to walk upon the roof, because all roofs are inherently dangerous. Why? Because a fall is fatal, or can be. It's certainly going to hurt, and that makes it dangerous, right? I've never known anyone who fell off a 14-foot, 16-foot roof and just bounced right up. So it is very dangerous to be on a roof. I do not recommend it. You can slide off, you can fall off. Oh, the stories. You're not required to walk upon any roof surface, and check your local regulations. But I do, and you may ask, why the heck do you walk on a roof if you're not required to? Well, it allows me to perform a better inspection for my client, I feel. 1. 2, it was part of my brand, and your brand is the answer to the question, why should I hire you? Why are you different from the next inspector? What do you do that's special that no one else does? Well, in my market area, I was probably the only one who built homes, installed roofs for a living, and was very comfortable and trained to walk upon roofs like this. So that's what I did. I made sure that my brand then was that message, that reason why to hire me, that extra value thing that I provide in my service was part of my marketing. And my marketing is business cards, flyers, brochures, advertisements, website, things like that. right? That's the vehicle through which you pass that message. Why you should be hired. Why are you the best? I wanted to distinguish myself from all my competition. I think of it as a line of my competitors. If I get my competitors and we all stand in a line like this, and I was asked, do you get to the job site early? Well, maybe most of us would. Step forward. Do you get upon the roof and walk around? Not everybody does that. Only a few. Do you use infrared? Oh, now I'm almost alone, right? There's maybe one or two with me. So I have to think, like, what can I do that distinguishes me from the rest so that I'm the only one walking forward? And I keep walking forward, and you'll find me in a field all alone. And I'll be the only one that you see. Potential clients will be looking for an inspector, and it's as if I'm the only marmot in the field. It's easy to pick the best inspector when no one else is standing around. Try to think then, if we were competitors, friendly competitors, and we saw each other at the local InterNACHI chapter, having coffee at night, talking about business, right? How are you going to beat me, right? You're going to fly a drone? Better get certified. We're coming out with a drone course to help you pass that FAA exam. Are you inspecting it from the ground with binoculars? Are you using a spectroscope, which is a lightweight, strong pole with a Wi-Fi camera, a Bluetooth camera connected to your device? How are you beating me in that picture, which is going to be in every marketing piece that I have? Every marketing piece is going to have that picture. I put that stuff in like this, like that. How are you going to beat me in that? You have to figure out how you're going to beat Ben Gromicko, home inspector. This is why you should hire me. I get up on every roof and I inspect it up close with my hands, touching the roof. There's no way a major material defect is going to get past my eyes. I'll even look at the fastening. I don't have to, but I can exceed the standards of practice. It's my privilege when I'm up there, right? There are so many reasons. So many, well, it's going to be fun for you to think of ways to beat me in the market. It's kind of fun. This is the fun part of business. Figuring out your brand, what your competition is doing, and tweaking your marketing. By the way, the best marketing piece is my home inspection report. That's why I put those pictures in my home inspection report. So that when my home inspection report, which isn't really read by my client, it's actually passed around, physically passed around, because I put my inspection report, my summary that you just saw, and I actually print out a copy, black and white, really fast printer. Here's the report itself. This is what I print out. This one is, it's not this inspection, but it's 51 pages long. And I print it out, and I bind it in the report. Got my business card here, got my home maintenance book here, got the summary in the back, got a letter for the seller. It's a really nice, here's a letter for the seller saying we wore indoor shoes only. Couple other ancillary services. The rack cards are here, ancillary services. So I can sell other services while I'm there. And I print this out. And this is passed around to coworkers, to family, to friends. This is the best marketing piece that I have. If you read this, you should be able to answer the question, should I hire this inspector? Because this is all they need, right? I work on my report every day. Make sure it's written well, clear to understand, and beautiful. Got these pictures in there. So in this inspection, this particular inspection, I took 341 digital inspection images. We're going to go over all of them. Excuse me. So I finish up the roof. I'm snapping. I look at anything that penetrates the roof covering It's not a roof system. You're not inspecting the entire system, which includes fastening and underlayment and the deck structure. Roof covering. There's a ridge vent, soffit vents. Oh, there's a money picture. That's my truck. My company name was Peach Inspections. Dan Keogh still operates it in Pennsylvania. Great company. As you can see, I like the big trucks, big ladders, big ladder rack. That's a 40-foot aluminum ladder, a 28-foot fiberglass ladder, 40-foot aluminum, crazy. I used to do barns. I think that's a 12-foot aluminum on top of that. And my cone, because real estate agents, for some strange reason, would love to park right up against my back bumper, and I couldn't get my tools out. So I opened up the tools thing. I never parked in the driveway. I left that reserved for my client, obviously. And, you know, I try to put my, and that's in the inspection report. So, yep. So inspect the flashing around the vent pipes, the gutter materials. Don't do that with your ladder. I don't think that's how I went. I went up on the gutter edge. But there's a ladder safety course that we have at InterNACHI, so you can feel comfortable to a certain extent using a ladder if you wanted to do so. And then there's the other, so now I'm on the ground, right? I've done my inspection, taken my images, actually use video as well, and then I'm on the ground and I'm looking around at other areas that are related to the roof. Downspouts go into underground drainage pipes. I'm not responsible for that. Porch roof looks pretty good. But there's, on the back side, I brought my ladder around because it seemed like there was water spilling over. Got my ladder up, took a shot of the gutter filled with debris. That's a nice shot there. And it's that one there. I try not to use arrows in my report. I don't have that kind of time. So I've got an arrow. It's my finger. So I put it, a lot of my pictures will have my hand in it. Are you required to find all the defects in the home that you're inspecting? Are you required to find all the defects in a home that you're inspecting? What's the answer? Jen says, only defects you observe and deem to be material. That is beautiful. That is the perfect answer. So you're not required to find all the defects in a home. It can't. It's a visual only inspection. It's like going in a house. I tell my clients sometimes this. I told a judge this too, because you can be taken to small claims court. It's no big deal. Put one hand by it and put the other hand by it. It's like walking around with no hands. It's just a visual only inspection. That's it. You can't see all the defects. There could be a defect behind this wall here. Big hole, a lot of mold. Can't see it. It's a visual only. There could be a defect under the carpet. Not required to move carpet. Not required to move, not required to dismantle things to look inside something. Right? So there could be defects all over the place. In fact, once my clients move in, after a few months, they'll probably find some defects, you know, beyond the scope of the home inspection. I'm only required to report those defects that I both observe during the day of the inspection and I deem it to be a material defect. It's so bad, it's going to hurt someone, or it has an adverse impact on the value of the home. Now, I exceed the standards of practice because I actually listen to my clients and they want me to identify other types of defects. What are the things that we can negotiate over? If there aren't material defects, why don't you tell me the problems in the house? And so I came up with this. These are definitions that are in our InterNACHI glossary. You may use them. You're not required to use them. But it's really up to you how you communicate your observations in your inspection report. You're required to report upon material defects that you observed. So cosmetic defect is a stain in the carpet. A minor defect is a problem that probably a home inspector can fix, like an upgrade to the thermostat. Low voltage, no one's going to get killed. Comes with instructions. Buy it at Home Depot. Major defect is like a hole in a roof. You need a roofer to go up there. And a material defect, well, that is actually defined in the standards of practice. Julie, need advice in passing the state of Illinois home inspector exam because some of the questions did not deal with home inspection. Can you pass a test like that? Yeah, I've heard that this national exam out there is really challenging. So we've actually gotten together. We're asking members to help us communicate our thoughts and opinions about the exam that's being used by states that do not recognize an alternative exam, like InterNACHI's proctored exam is a good one. So it's a difficult thing. Unfortunately, InterNACHI does not know, no one really knows, what questions are on the exam. So we really just guessing. So we have all these other resources available to you to help you prepare to take the national exam. And also our legal department has some insider information about the exam that you may want to know about. And you can contact our legal department as well and ask about this exam and how to prepare for it. Yep. You have always been against drones. Has InterNACHI changed its stance, or are you responding to the demand for our members? Yeah, so Taylor, I personally cannot fly a drone in Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado. I'm right up against the Rocky Mountains. They are right over there. And a gust of wind of 40 miles an hour can be like that. And I don't think a drone can handle that. Not the most expensive ones can handle something like that, maybe automatically. But in my area, it's not going to work. Secondly, I don't want to tell 25,000 home inspectors of InterNACHI that drones are available. Go fly drones. Drones, according to the FAA, are either for fun or you have to take their exam. You have to be a pilot to fly a drone and all the other requirements you have to fulfill in the United States, right? I'm not sure about other international, I'm not sure about Alberta and drones, right? But in the United States, it's clear that drones are for fun, or you have to get down and dirty and pass their pilot exam. You have to become a pilot, right? So members have demanded for training. And so we're coming out with a drone pilot training course based upon all the information that the FAA provides to help you pass their exam, even sample test questions. So we're going to have that available in a couple months, in the beginning of May, 2018. Right, for me, drones are for fun. You know, careful. Don't fly a drone as a home inspector for commercial purposes if you are not in compliance with the rules and regulations. Okay, drones are for fun. So those are the types of defects that I use to describe what I see. Oh, more questions. What is your cost to print a home inspection report for every client? Right, I think we figured it out. Ink is the most costly thing. The binder is next. So it's about $1, and $1. So $1 ink, $1 binder, $1 inside, about $3, right? But I never, this is overhead. This is a cost. Overhead is cost that you pay for for operating a business. And I never paid for this. I never actually paid for anything extra, like my infrared camera. I never actually paid for my infrared camera. My clients paid for it, right? I increased my inspection fee. I increased my inspection fee $5 when we started doing this. This cost us $3. My client pays for it because I increased my inspection fee $5. So they pay for their own thing, and I get a cup of coffee out of it. Inside is a home maintenance book. $2 each, $2.70 each, right? My client paid for that. My client paid for their own home maintenance book, right? So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can lock your prices in or slowly add value. And when you add overwhelming value, you can demand higher prices. Because in the eyes of your potential client, prospective client, if the value of your service far exceeds the cost, it's a good decision. So you want to overwhelm your client with incredible value, right? And you can demand higher prices. That's what you want to do. So it's about calculating a profitable fee when you incorporate the cost of everything. I calculated a profitable fee including my travel time. In our home inspection business course, a free online course to everyone, members and non-members alike, I think it's chapter 11 or chapter 7, sorry. There's an equation that you can use, a very simple general equation that you can use to calculate profitable inspection fees. What's your desired salary? What's your overhead? And what's your profit margin? You divide all that by your time. And that's how you can figure out if you are in the green, in the black, making profit on every job, right? And there's certain tips and tricks. Ancillary services is absolutely one of them. I hated when I did only an inspection, a home inspection at a property. I wanted to perform a home inspection and an ancillary service, like a radon test, or a termite inspection, or a water quality test, or a lead hazard risk assessment. I was certified to do that. Wanted to do something extra so that I could increase the gross revenue, but I didn't increase my time. Think of it as way back in school, algebra, basic math, fractions, there's numerator divided by denominator. Numerator is the money you make. Denominator is the amount of time you invested into to make that money. You want the denominator as small as possible, numerator as big as possible. You want your denominator, your time, as small as possible. You want to be efficient. Not running through and doing a crappy inspection, but you want to be efficient and comprehensive with your inspection. And you don't want to add time by adding ancillary services that consume more time. You want to keep that nice and tight. Like my inspection, right? From 8 to 11, 3-hour inspection. I can make $500, $600. That's really good profit. There's a profit margin in there that I like, right? Shoot, what were we talking about? I sometimes go off. What is the cost of printing? Oh, so, right. So the cost of any value that you provide, you have to think of it as that. You're providing value. What is the cost of providing that value? And is it worth it? Right? There's also a business strategy about risk management. If the cost of managing risk is lower than the risk itself, then you go for it, right? If the perceived value of what you provide is overwhelmingly bigger than the cost, then you're doing a good business. You're doing a good service. You'll be successful. If the perceived value is greater than the cost, that's a good decision. Jen got the question right. Visual inspection. My mic is going in and out. Well, I hope it stays in. Sometimes technology works. Life is good when technology works well. If there's ever any trouble, it's going to be video recorded, so you can watch it later. And you can also log back in. So I'll keep an eye on that. Thanks, Jim. What do you do if a house has high roof that you can't reach with a ladder? I disclaim it, right? I take a picture of it, and I clearly describe that I tried to ascend to the roof, but I wasn't able to, and for this reason, right? So there's an inspection restriction. I study codes on ICC with I found a code violation. Sorry, Rawl. I'm studying codes on ICC. Oh, what if I find a code violation? Right. Rawl asks about code violations during a home inspection. What if you observe a code violation during a home inspection? Well, thank goodness I'm not a code inspector. I'd have to report it and refer to the code itself. I'm not a code inspector. I'm a home inspector with this minimal standards of practice that I have to follow. That's absolutely makes it clear that I'm not a code inspector. So I inspect the home without any regard to code, because code is highly dependent upon the date the home was built and the cycle of the code that you're in, right? So if I inspect a home without any regard to when the home was built, that frees me up to talk about anything I want. If the space between the spindles is large enough for a 4-inch sphere to pass through it, right? It's a defect, regardless of when this home was built, because I'm a home inspector, not a code inspector. But my observations and my knowledge is based upon code. Why? Because people get hurt. Code changes, unfortunately, when people get hurt. When small children were falling through railings that had spaces between their spindles large enough for a 4-inch sphere to pass through, children were falling and getting hurt, sometimes fatally. Fire code changes, unfortunately, when firemen get hurt, right? That's why we have all this stuff about AFCIs and GFCIs and smoke detectors. They just keep coming because someone, their house burned down. So we changed the code, right? So you're not a code inspector. So what frees you up as a home inspector is to inspect the house without any regard to when the home was built. And if you find a defect, you can call it out, right? A defect is a defect, regardless of when the home was built. And don't let anyone, like a real estate agent or another home inspector or a code inspector or a contractor, say, oh, use the term grandfathered. Oh, it was grandfathered. Bull. It's a defect today. And I'm here today to find defects. And this is a defect. There's a little 4-inch sphere. You can take it on the job. Here's a 6-inch sphere, 6 1/4, right? So at the stair, there's a space. Can't allow a sphere like this. And on the railings, can't allow a sphere like this to pass through. If it can, defect. But the home was built in 1942. I don't care. Someone can get hurt with this, Let's see, we're doing questions. Sorry, I'm doing questions, but these are good questions. Scott, the IRC code exam, I was recommended to purchase the code check cheat sheet to study with by a MCP. It's been really good. Absolutely. I love the code books. There's another one I like. Oh, it's even better than that. I read the code books like every day. Someone's asking me a question about code. I'm always referring to the IRC. The IRC, the International Residential Code, is what InterNACHI bases its training upon. DeWalt, D-E-W-A-L-T. Look it up. Amazon, DeWalt, brilliant yellow, nice guidebooks. Yeah. Inspector Outlet, Inspector Outlet, one word, .com, sells them with discounts to InterNACHI members. So you may want to look at that. Those are really good too. I would say better than the others out there, but they're all pretty good. And use them to study. It's excellent. Do you recommend having a printed report for every client? Should we ask have they would like a printed report? Right. So at the end of the inspection, it's all about time management, which I'm really bad at here because we're almost an hour in to the class and we're not even off the roof. At the end of the inspection, I can print out a report, print out a summary, print out the full report, or just email it. I ask real estate agents, what would really help you after the inspection? What can I do for you, right? And your client after the inspection? Would you like the entire report printed out? Some say yes. Some say no, just print out the summary, a couple copies of the summary. And so I did 1, 2, 3, boop, 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 boop. That's it, right? If my client is there, great. I'm going to try to impress them by giving them a lot of things. Home maintenance book, you know, that's really good. Home maintenance book adds weight to the summary sheet, right? If I don't print the entire report. So it's really your call. But one of the things you can do for your business is simply ask a real estate agent, what do you think a good inspection report looks like? Or what would you like your favorite home inspector to do or provide at the end of the actual inspection? Why don't you ask them? I mean, and then just provide what they need. Provide that service. If they're asking for a summary, print it out, a couple copies of the summary. Why say no? Just that's what your job is. Provide the service that your client wants. Give them what they want. What do they want? You have to ask. So go to your favorite real estate agents. Ask them that question. What do you think a good home inspector does during an inspection? What is a good home inspection report for you? What do you appreciate? A summary? Do you appreciate cloud-based reports? Ask them these things, you know, in conversation. Or maybe you have a minute. Ask for a minute of their time. You can get 10 questions out in a minute. And then you provide that service. It's a no-brainer. You don't have to think. You don't have to guess. Ask what your clients want. Your client, your home buying client, just wants the best inspector, right? So you have to be qualified. InterNACHI has those certifications for you, free and online certifications, to boost your credibility out into the clouds. Your real estate agent wants specific things, and they're all kind of similar, but some want different things, right? We don't want to see the report. Just give me the summary, so they can attack it. Why is InterNACHI having trouble updating the new TREC SOP and legal ethics? We're not having any trouble. Texas is a country unto itself, man. Every year, every year, Texas changes their standards, and we're just following their updates. So Texas, it is very difficult. I really appreciate the hard work an individual does to become a home inspector in Texas. It's incredibly difficult, and it's just as difficult to be an education provider in Texas because they keep changing the rules on us. But yeah, we'll be there. I fully anticipate live, online, proctored exams for every course that's approved by Texas TREC by the end of the year. Yep. But InterNACHI never fails our members. Whatever you need, we'll eventually get it. But sometimes states and regulatory bodies are really slow. Like, for example, another example, I don't want to pick on Texas. New York, insane. They do not approve any online continuing education. They force licensed professional home inspectors. Oh, real estate agents, yeah, you can take free online education, sure. But home inspectors, no. They force you to sit in a class, a boring class, all day long, not work and not serve the public. And it's very expensive to afford CE in New York because they force you to be live, right? Ugh. Yep. So, but, InterNACHI has live classes in New York. Okay, let's roll. We got a lot to go through. I take videos of all of my inspections, right? There's the gutter.
It's filled with water.
Yep.
Left side of the house is the electric meter. It's secured to the house.
Yep. I mean, they're only a few seconds long. Some are 20 seconds long.
Propane tank shutoff valve.
Yep.
Gas shutoff valve.
Got it.
3-ton air conditioner unit, 8 years old. So it's in the middle of its life. Refrigerant line looks good. Electric.
My client was not with me here. So what I do is I shoot as much video as possible.
Propane tank is in the rear yard.
There it is.
Like the grill just touched the vinyl siding.
Oh, the hot grill touched the vinyl siding and melted the vinyl.
Receptacles are protected by
all GFCIs. So video is, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, what do you think a video is, right? And so I did, about a dozen videos. There's the defect. It's a minor defect that could be fixed by a homeowner. Cleaning gutters is a homeowner thing or a contractor thing. It's in the middle. And I'm done with the roof inspection. I'm also done writing the inspection report. What does that mean? Well, let me show you. Let's see if I can do it real quick here. Be patient. I'm not the best at this stuff. Let's see if I can get I use mobile reporting software. So let's see if I can find it. All right. I go mobile. I don't write. I used to write my reports on my laptop, but I found that at the end of the day, instead of being done at 4:30, I'm writing reports at night. But if you inspect and write the report at the same time, then you're efficient. You reduce the number of mistakes you make because your checklist is with you, and you're done writing the report. There's my lovely wife. That's Alicia. On my inspection device, my mobile device, my iPhone, is Home Inspector Pro. You can see good software. HomeGauge is another good software that works on droids. Pitch Factor is an app that does the slope of a roof. So there's my web camera coming at you, and if I measure the slope of the web camera, it's just about level, right? You can also take a picture of it too. And then Spectora is another software that I use. So software. Okay, so if all goes well, this will go well. My computer is probably overheating right now. It's doing so many things. So if I crash, so this is an inspection report, and this is me, member 745. I come to the house early and I take a photo of the house. So this is a photo of the house, and there's our wall of textbooks. So that's a photo of the house, right? Wall of textbooks. There's my client, there's my agent, and then I want to do a residential report, inspection details, general. Who's with me? Well, my client didn't show up, but my client agent is there. And let's say if I can get my client's agent to take a picture. Oh, yep. I got my client's agent to take a picture. So he's going to be in the inspection report, his picture. The place is occupied, and it's a colonial, and it's, let's see if I can get, how many degrees? It's 78 degrees. Actually, right now, it's about 32 degrees in Boulder, I think. That's pretty cold. Type of building, it's attached. It's a cloudy day. And if I wanted to do a video of the cloudy day, so this is a video of the cloudy day showing the weather conditions of the house. All right, use the video. Whoops, it popped over here. Come back. What's the next thing I'm looking at? Inspection method for the roof. I inspected it from the roof itself, and it's a let's say it's a gable roof, and I want to take a video of it. So here's the roof inspection, and it's a 3-tab shingle. It's 10 years old, and I don't find any major material defects. That's in the report. So is a picture of the roof. Let's say picture of the roof. There's a picture of the roof. I use that photo. Yeah, we're still there. And oh yeah, picture of the roof. I use that photo. Yep. And why not 3? Picture of the roof. Me walking on the roof. Use that photo. And maybe I need to flag it. I don't know. Maybe there's a problem there. And then I go back, and so that's roof covering. And then I have recommendations. So maybe there's damaged roof. Oh, damaged roof. Damaged roof. This is damaged. This is a roof shingle that's damaged, and it should be repaired. Okay? Do you get it? So as I'm inspecting, I'm taking pictures. There's some, oh, I'm sorry. It bounced back. Whoop. Whoop. It bounced. I'm using 2 screens during this class. Oh, this is a missing shingle, that's a defect there. Okay, you get it? So I'm doing, oh, I can also do arrows if I wanted to, but I don't like it. So when there's a major defect, you get that option. So let me go back. I can hit save to cloud. This is on my mobile. This is on my phone. I don't carry other equipment or anything like that. Let's see. So I go over here. Oh, no, I go over here. And then, let's see. Thanks for being patient, but I really wanted to show you how I would write an inspection report software. I go to Spectora's website. There's Spectora. I'm going to log in. Go to my inspections. And stretch this out. And I want to see that report that I just made. Wow, there it is. Boom. This is the inspection report. It looks like an interactive website page. You can print it as a PDF, save it as a PDF and send it, but you would send a link, that URL to your client, and they show up. And there's my, remember the oops, you can't see me. Remember the house picture was our textbooks on that wall over there? There it is. There's me. There's my agent. How many recommendations did I make? I have 3 recommendations. I inspected 63 things. There's my agent, right? There's the weather conditions, right?
This is a video of the cloudy day showing the weather conditions of the house. Okay.
Right? There's the roof conditions. This is the summary. This is the full report. There's the summary, by the way, viewing the summary. So the summary is real quick. I've got, remember, a missing shingle. I've got damaged shingle materials.
This is damaged. This is a roof shingle that's damaged.
And there's I did this before. That was a missing chimney cap. And this is the full report where all the details and information is, right? And all those pictures that I took. Remember my foot on the... This is where you are now. So let me make this clear. I was inspecting with my phone, taking pictures, following my checklist so I don't make a mistake, and I'm efficient with my time, and I'm taking video. And at any moment, when I come down from the roof and I'm standing and I'm about to meet my client and do the exterior with them, I'm finished inspecting the roof and I'm finished writing the report. And when I'm done with the entire inspection, I simply click and it's available. The entire report with all of my comments, all of my pictures, everything's here. This is pretty amazing. This is really good stuff, you know? That's nice. That's really cool. I like it. I try to learn different software so I can share what I'm learning. I'm learning Spectora myself. I think it's pretty cool software. Not bad. Not bad software. I've got fat fingers. These buttons work for my fingers. Basically, that's one of the reasons why I like it. And it handles, there's my phone. It handles video and images really well without crashing or anything, as you can see. So I'll be doing a full home inspection using this software in the summertime when it warms up in Colorado. So when I'm done with the roof inspection, I'm actually done inspecting it, taking pictures, popping the pictures right there where I made my comments. With my comments, the pictures and the video is there as well. And at any moment, I'm ready to roll. So write your inspection report as you inspect. Here's my inspection report of the property that we're inspecting, right? First page, table of contents, general information, what really matters in a home inspection. There's really only 4 things that really matter in a home inspection. Major defects, things that may lead to defects, things that may hinder your ability to finance or occupy or insure the home, and safety hazards. Here's a little introduction. Here's my roof. These are the actual pictures that I took with my mobile device. It's about 10, 12 years ago I did this. Looks like 11 years ago, with pictures. And I took these pictures while I inspected, and I was putting them in the inspection report using my mobile device. It was a, oh, what did they call it back then? They weren't iPhones. They were personal devices. I forget what they're called. Like an iPhone. There's the roof. And so there's my correction and further evaluation was recommended. In red, the gutter is cleaned. Gutter is filled and it needs to be cleaned. Okay, 8 o'clock, 8:15, I'm going to inspect the exterior. I'm really walking at a good pace. I'm snapping pictures. I'm clicking. I inspected this, the grading, inspected this, picture, this, done, this, that, that. That's about my pace. This, turn on the water, flash, click, go. If I'm alone, it's fast. If I'm with somebody, I'm going to be talking at the same time. And these are the actual pictures I took for the exterior. Snap, snap, snap. I'm a little concerned about the grading. It's sloping towards the house and there's a puddle of water there. That's in the report as a monitoring recommendation. Same here. The vinyl siding looks good, except the hot grill, the lid touched it just for a moment and melted the vinyl siding. Click, click, click. It's pretty good, you know. It's a few things that I need to inspect to make sure they're working. You know, sidewalk, steps, stoops, railings, the porch, making sure everything's sealed, GFCIs for all exterior receptacles. You know, I inspect anything that has a hole in the building envelope, like a door or a window or a pipe. I usually go bottom left, bottom right, top left. I want to look at the flashing at the bottom. A lot of stuff going on down there, maybe wood rot. And I want to look at the flashing areas up here, make sure that the header flashing is installed, or where two different materials touch at a corner of a window or a door. I want to make sure all that's in good shape. When you look at in a pattern, like counterclockwise, I do every window and every door and every opening counterclockwise. I actually inspect the exterior in a counterclockwise way. Start from the front and I move to the right and I inspect the exterior. I go around. Actually, when I arrive, I like to do the exterior alone if I can, or I'll take my client around quickly, send them inside, and then I go around alone, snapping and taking pictures and really inspecting. And that only takes a few minutes. It really only does. 15, 20 minutes. Maybe if there's defects, a little bit more, right? I inspect the exterior, some of the gates, siding, backyard, not required to, water faucets, GFCIs, windows and doors, top, bottom, corners, penetrations like pipe penetrations, air conditioning unit. The beauty of using a mobile device is when you're inspecting a home, you have to think a home is a system of interdependent parts. One part affects all others. So when you're inspecting the exterior, you may bump into another system. So this is the air conditioning system. It's not really part of the exterior. It's really the HVAC system. So in the report, you just simply jump to that system, click, 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 pick, 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 pick. You're done. This inspection of this exterior HVAC condenser unit is going to be about 2 minutes. There's really nothing wrong. It's on a stable base. I get the size, the date, refrigerant line, electrical disconnect. That's it. Done. Right? Gas supply to the house, propane tank buried in the backyard, gauge, lid, done. Exhaust systems, water meter, dryer exhaust. I can see the lint, no screen, flapper. That's good. Now I'm on an electrical system. Phone, electrical meter secured to the house. I like to pull on it, see if it falls off. Line going into the panel in the basement. Grounding wire, I see it. I don't see a grounding rod. Exterior report. Couple pictures. Remember the water puddling up? Picture of the sump pump discharge pipe. I take pictures of good and bad because I want to beef up my best marketing piece that we talked about in the past in this class. Your home inspection report is your best marketing piece. So you want to throw some stuff in there, right? Good and bad pictures. So there's the siding, a little bit of melting on one of the siding pieces there by the grill. Water faucets work, GFCI receptacles, the dryer hood, propane tank, lights, Improvement repair. We weren't able to activate that pole light in the front yard. I'm done with the exterior. Now I get to the juicy parts. And I want to go down to the HVAC system in the basement. Where I'm from, there are basements. I want to get to the most important. These are the lungs. This is the lungs of the house. HVAC. Hot water source, water supply, drain coming out, water coming in, drain going out, and the plumbing in general, right? So this is where you want, if there's an uncle with you, right, who has some contracting experience, their arms are crossed, they're waiting for you to do something impressive. Well, this is it. This is your time to shine. I go right for the heart of the system, heart of the house, the HVAC system. So it's a gas-fired forced air system. I pull the panel to look at the blower door, look for any mice, dust, condensate leaks, air filter. Air filter's low efficiency, needs to be replaced every 30 days. All this stuff that is about home maintenance, I really don't fill up my inspection report with. I let my home maintenance book say it, right? I include this with every inspection report for every client. And I give a copy to my agents so that they know the value of hiring me. Let the home maintenance stuff not fill up your inspection report. Let the home maintenance book help you. Now, this sets the expectation of what a home inspection is. It even says, if you could read it, now that you're a new homeowner, guess who's responsible for the condition of the home after I leave? You. It's not me. Don't call me. Yep. Look for defects. You'll probably find some defects. The roof may leak, but I did the inspection. Now it's up to you to take it forward. And one of the things that are in the home maintenance book is HVAC maintenance, how to operate it, how to maintain it, and how to save energy. And the air filter needs to be done by the homeowner. And that's where it's located. So if my homeowner is not with me, home buyer is not with me, they're going to really know how to maintain that and where it is and how to get to it. There's a draft inducer fan, sucks combustion air into the chamber, and blows it out. Service switch. So my procedure is pretty easy. I go to the dining room, kick on a living room, and kick on a thermostat, run downstairs, look at it, turn it off. It's the first thing I do. Turn it off. I take some pictures as I hear it running, right? And then I turn it off. We're going to do that cycle one more time, but with me looking at it and listening to it. I bend over, I turn it on, and I just watch the cycle begin, right? First thing is the draft inducer fan, because it wants to get that draft going. Next thing is the gas and the pilot. Some clicks, some not. It all depends on how it ignites. Is there a glow plug? Is there an intermittent spark? Burners turn on. Nice rumble. Heats up the heat exchanger. Fan turns on. There's different speeds and cycles through. Beautiful. I'm done with that inspection. That takes about a minute or two to go through that cycle and confirm that it works. Gas shutoff valve, drip leg, gas line, all's looking good. There's the exhaust pipe, high efficiency, beautiful. I know this is a high efficiency heating system because the exhaust pipe is plastic, right? And it produces condensate. There's the exhaust pipe going out, and we saw that pipe on the outside. You have to think how that thing on the outside of the house was connected to the thing on the inside of the house. So I take pictures of everything, obviously, right? Refrigerant line, we saw that on the outside. Liquid line is the uninsulated thin copper tube. And that's the refrigerant, that's the evaporator coil of the air conditioner. Evaporator coils produce condensate, so you want to watch the drainage of that. I don't like how the builder installed the condensate right into the basement floor. It should be installed in a pump and discharged outside. This is going to cause problems. It has in the past. I'm not being fooled by the gray paint on the floor just before the home inspection. It has overflowed and caused problems in the past. You can't just drain a ton of water underneath the slab of the basement or your house or your utility room and think it's going to work over a long period of time. It's not. It's going to fail. The basement is finished, but it's not really heated. This is the only supply register, I believe, in the entire basement. And there's the thermostat. Drain going out. All the drain pipes look good, supported well, PVC. Softener system beyond the scope of a home inspection, but I'm going to take a look at it. Main water shutoff valve, water meter, jumper cable, check valve, expansion tank. When you have a check valve on a potable water system coming into a residential home, it's checked. It can't come back out. Can't. It's part of protecting the public water system. If it's checked and it can't expand out, the hot water tank is going to heat up some water, right? What happens to water when you heat it up? It expands. If it's checked and it can't expand that way, you need an expansion tank. If you don't have an expansion tank with a potable water system coming into the house with a check valve, you got to look for a dripping TPR valve because there's excessive pressure on the system, unless you have one of those. But that could be failing too. So it's a judgment call. Water filter, some minerals or something in the water, and so they put in a charcoal filter, no big deal. Beyond the scope of a home inspection. Water softener as well. So it was hard public water. Hot water tank, guess, manufacturer, size, serial number. With the serial number, you can find the actual year by going to buildingcenter.org. It's a really good website. Gas shutoff valve, water coming in, TPR valve, exhaust pipe going out, done. I feel like I'm really moving on with my inspection. I'm showing my client how to operate everything, how to maintain it, and I'm identifying important things and any defects that I find. And I'm writing the report as I inspect, so I know I'm not making any mistakes because I'm simply following my checklist, right? And I'm going to be done with the inspection report when I'm done with the inspection. And I'm moving well. I'm thinking, oh, it's like a little after 9. Perfect timing. I got plenty of time to do the rest of the inspection. It's all about time management and being efficient, right? You don't want to get stuck looking at the air filter for a half an hour when it's really about 1 or 2 minutes. If you're not finding major defects, you really should be moving along, right? So here's a code violation. You're not supposed to have a pipe in front of the electrical panel, but I'm not a code inspector, right? So I'm going to put it in the report as an inspection restriction, but I'm actually not going to ask this to be removed and all that stuff because it's a code violation of when the house was built, blah, blah, blah. You're not required to remove the dead front cover, but I do. Oh, 2 fingers is 200 amps. Every breaker should be specifically identified. So it's dangerous to remove the dead front cover. I recommend you do not do it. If you make a mistake, it could be fatal, just like on a roof. So it's not required by the standards of practice. And but I do it because, well, I've installed panels. I'm trained. I've hung out with electricians, building homes. All that looks good. I'm looking for, really, in this panel, overfusing, where you have a big fat breaker on a small gauge wire. And I just don't see that happening. So it looks good. Done. Put the dead front cover back on. Now I'm going to the structure, and I'm concerned about water. Remember the puddles on the outside? I'm looking for signs of water on the inside. And there's a sump pump. I open up the sump pump, I lift the float, turns on, discharges, it's plugged in. Next, laundry is in the basement. So the supply hoses are black rubber hoses. They're not reliable. Should be braided mesh or pressure tested. All laundry receptacles need to be GFCI. There's a gas shutoff valve for the gas dryer. The the discharge, the drainage standpipe system for the discharge of the laundry clothes washer is good. It's within code, but you know, I'm not a code inspector. The exhaust for the dryer is good. It's short, it's straight, and it's metal. That's good. There's no catch pan underneath the clothes washer, just in case it leaks, but it's in the basement. Every time I see a laundry area without a catch pan, I call it out, regardless of where it's located. And the basement has inspection restrictions. It's finished, partially finished, with a lot of personal items that I do not move. Foundation type is described in my inspection report, poured concrete foundation. It's all looking really good. The corners look good. There's toys in the way, but you know, I'm trying to poke around. I actually take my phone and take a picture of the window and open up the window and move the drop ceiling tiles. You're not required to according to the standards practice, but I move the drop ceiling tiles. I stick my camera up there. I take some pictures. I actually use a 3-tine hoe to help me. So here's a gardening tool. It's extendable, right? And it's 3 tines. So 1, 2, 3 tines. One, I heat it up with a torch and I straighten it out so that I could poke. The other 2 I use to grab things like insulation, to pull it away, to take a look, and then to put it right back and no one knows. So there's the 3-tine hoe. And this is hard to find on the internet. But I Googled it. It's called, I'll show you the name, Hydro Shark. Let's see how many orders they get. It's a tool that I used to use, and I found this one. They still make them. And it just tells me if there's moisture. So I'll wet my finger, right? And it has these 2 prongs, just like a moisture meter intruding, you know. And it gives me a red light and an audible sound. What do I do with that? Well, I can poke things, or I could poke things down here. And the pins go through the carpeting, the padding, and touch the whatever is below the padding. And I can see if it's wet or not. I'm not a code inspector, and I'm not measuring things. I'm not required to measure a thing at all. I could care less about the quantification of things, the actual measurement of things. I just want, my world is qualification, you know, just anomalies. I don't care. There's no number here. I'm not taking a moisture meter reading, although I use a moisture meter with my infrared camera to confirm what I see. So I'm just using tools like that to see if, to make my inspection room better. These tools here, beyond the scope of the home inspection, you're not required to move insulation. You're not required to probe. It's not technically exhaustive. My infrared camera, right? It's not required, but they all are used to help a home inspector do a better job. That's why I use them. Test the basement receptacles. Oh, there they are. That's a picture from 11 years ago. Same tools. Insulation, joists, engineered joists, looking for cut things. There I go. Yep. So I'm probing that, probing. No moisture, looking good. Little distribution, manifold, water supply lines, just taking pictures like crazy, looking for anything. And I want to be able to show the judge, if you're brought into small claims, that I can't see everything, right? Look at all the equipment. Look at all the equipment, personal items. Just doing my best. Okay. I'm ready to go to the attic. It's 10 o'clock. Remember, 8 to 11, and now it's 10 o'clock. 2 hours have passed, but I'm done. In my head, I feel like I'm done because I got the roof, the exterior, HVAC, plumbing, structure, electrical, all that stuff, that really important stuff out of the way in 2 hours. I'm done. I'm going to the attic. In my head, I'm not really done, but you know what I mean. Like the hard, difficult things. Ugh, really important stuff. The expensive stuff, the important things, that's done. I'm going to go do the attic. I've got interior and the kitchen. I can do that fairly easily. The attic, especially if there's no flooring, it's an inspection restriction. There's only so much I can do. It's going to take me maybe a few minutes to do the attic inspection here. The structure looks good. I don't see anything cut or modified on site. Trusses look good. The decking looks good. I don't see any. That's my flashlight. That's a picture of me using my flashlight to look for roof leaks. I don't see any roof leaks. The vents, the gable vents are open. The soffit vents are open with trays. That's good. Penetration. Lots of insulation, 12 inches thick approximately. Bat insulation. I'm done with the exterior. I'm going to do the interior now. Patrick, which software is this? Why do you use more than one reporting software? I'm not a home inspector, Patrick. I used to be. I used to use a software called Inspect View from Porter Valley and use it on my laptop, and then I switched it over and I used mobile devices to use my inspection report, and then I used HomeGauge as an instructor, and then I learned Home Inspector Pro as an instructor after I retired and I didn't do any inspections, and now I'm learning Inspectora.com. That's a good software because I like mobile devices, and I like learning new software so I can teach it in my classes. Matthias, how many pictures do you take for an item in the report? I like to take pictures in threes. So from far away, mid, and up close. So you get about 9 inspection pictures per system. 3 from far away. Click, click, click. Move up closer. And this is what you do when you're using a flashlight or infrared camera. Click, click, click. And come up close and actually touch the components. And I'll click, click, click. If there's more components, obviously, I'm touching every component then when I'm up close. And I try to put 3 pictures in the report across, 3, 3, 3. What can help when your mobile is getting low on battery and power? Yeah, so I had a charging station, right? Charging station at home, right by my front door where I walk in at the end of the day and out at the beginning of the day, a charging station. It's dedicated for Dad and his devices. I had a lot of things. Back then, we had separate GPS devices. Now it's all on your phone. And you need a charger in your phone. In your car, in your vehicle. So I don't know. I can't remember the last time I couldn't use my phone because it was discharged. And I use it all the time for everything. Concerned with staining on the exterior of the foundation? No. You mean those like patches? That was where the metal brace was to hold the wall and the braces in place, and they cracked them off, and then he patched it with mortar. Maybe on the exterior, some staining or something like that? No. Nah. What I'm concerned with is efflorescence. So with concrete, CMUs, concrete masonry units, or poured concrete, water and concrete interact really well with each other. They do strange things. Concrete is porous, so it absorbs moisture by wicking and absorption, and it also leaves behind, after it dries, after absorbing that moisture, efflorescence, salt deposits. And it also, there's a physics involved. Moisture can move with pressure and pop faces of brick right off. So on a chimney stack. So there's a lot of really interesting things about stone, masonry, concrete, and water. And I got my stone here. We got it in. James from the video department picked up a stone for me at the local quarry, and here it is. Can you see it in the thing? Yeah. So it's like 100 and something pounds, and we're going to put this stone in a pan of water and do a time lapse. And we're going to watch that water be wicked up in the stone. And we're going to measure it and see if we can calculate a few things and show you what water does when what a stone does when it's in contact with water. It'll be kind of cool. So it's really, and we actually have a course on this. It's the moisture intrusion course. It's a free online course anybody can take. When we go to the 4 things that matter in a home, so quickly, I want to write them down. Oh, let's see. I'll do better than that. If I can remember the URL. So I'm typing on my other screen here. What really matters? Okay. Let's see if I can bring this over. And let me see if I can move in. Oh, let's see. Can I do that? Wait. No. Sorry. I was trying to zoom. Why can't I zoom? Oh, there it is. Okay. Hope you can see it. www.nachi.org/what_really_matters. And that should take you. I don't think you have to type in .htm. So it's nachi.org/what_really_matters. Go there, and there's a video and the script. And the 4 things is what really matters in a home inspection. And this is really a page in my inspection report, and it's really just for the real estate agents so that they can communicate to their client who is probably freaking out, right? Because I've overwhelmed them with so much great information. They're probably saying, hey, look, Ben, he did a great inspection, but what really matters is this. So I want my agents to have a script that I wrote for them. That's the real purpose. Major defects, things that lead to defects, things that may hinder your ability to occupy or finance or insure, and safety hazards. Those are 4 things that really matters. Is walking on the ceiling joist a safe way to inspect the attic? No. Have you mean you haven't fallen through a ceiling? I have. I actually have. So I used to install radon mitigation systems with my brother. And brand new home. It was home inspected. It was radon tested. Came out high levels of radon. I was a radon mitigation installer, mitigation system installer. I'm up in the attic installing the roof fan and pipes, and my foot slides. There's no flooring. Foot slides off of the ceiling joist, and my entire leg goes through into the bedroom below, and 2 days is closing. So I had to come back and patch everything up. Fortunately, I knew how to do all that stuff because I built homes. If there is no floor in the attic, don't enter it. If there's any unsafe situation, don't go there. If you feel like this is not good for me, I may get stuck or hurt, don't do it. Crawl space needs certain minimum requirements to access it. The attic should have a flooring to access it. If it doesn't, you take pictures and disclaim it and said, this is a visual only inspection. I don't have to build a floor or risk my life to do this job. I basically am putting 2 hands behind my back and walking around the house and looking at things. That's what I'm doing. If there's no floor, there's no floor. I'm not walking across that. So no, don't do it. And that's advice from a guy who fell through a ceiling. Is there any report software that has voice recording? Oh, shoot. Yeah, all of them do. Can I open this again? Let's see if I can get this. Can I get this to work? That's always my problem. Can I get this to work? It's always what I want to say. Oh, man. Hello. Oh, darn it. I didn't show you. Wait. I'll show it to you. Wait. I got to do this. Swipe. Then I got a mirror. It's somewhere. There it is. Okay. This is Spectora software because this is the software I'm currently learning. I'm in here. I just want to show you new deficiency. Missing flooring in attic. Boom. Here's my comment. I'm not risking my life to inspect the attic because it doesn't have any flooring, period. This is an inspection restriction, period. Get someone up here to install the floor. I would never say that. Oh, sorry. But you get what I did. So you can type that in, okay? There you go. I hope I turned that off. So yeah, all phones have that, right? All phones have voice recognition right now. So you can just install, you can type in. I can't anymore. I can't type anymore. Can't type with my thumbs like my daughters do. Can't do that. So it has to be voice for me. And so it works really well. And that software works really well. So thanks, Mahmoud. Mahmoud. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Mahmoud. Do you generally have to bring a ladder with you for home inspections? No, you're not required to bring a ladder, but I do for a couple reasons. I'm a better inspector if I use my ladder to get into the attic or the crawl space or the roof, get on the roof. I'm just a better inspector. And also, it's part of my brand. So if you're not inspecting the roof, like I'm inspecting the roof, I have a competitive advantage over you. What's the best dimension on the camera to take pictures so you will not have any problem with downloading your camera from your Matthias? So I don't worry about that stuff anymore. Spectora, Home Inspector Pro, Home Gauge, they figure all that out, right? I just take pictures like normal. They're megabyte pictures, 1.4 megabyte pictures. They're big, 2 megabyte pictures. And then if you were with us earlier in class, I showed you how to write an inspection report on this phone, and then you upload it to the cloud, and then you send a link to your client to the cloud, and you can see the inspection report with pictures, big, beautiful pictures, and video. Yep. Ben, what's your opinion on using continuous radon monitors versus passive active? I used to build active charcoal tests, 40 grams of activated charcoal in a little can with a desiccant and all that stuff. And then we moved to just buying them in a bag and opening them up. And then we did electrets, which is a disc, a silicone disc. And when radon touches it, it discharges electricity, and you measure that quantitatively. And continuous radon monitors are the best. Expensive. You can get in a program. And I recommend, I'll bring it up. Radalink. There it is there. Radalink offers to pay InterNACHI membership dues for members. Click that link, contact Radalink, demand some InterNACHI benefits from that provider of continuous radon monitors, and see what they come up with. How do you get on a metal roof or tile roofs? I do not. So asphalt shingles, flat roofs, those are beautiful. Metal, for sure. Yeah, unless it's rainy, then it's slippery. I found that asphalt shingles, when they're slightly damp or more sticky, and tile, I can't do tile. Look at me, I'm 240 pounds. And other materials I don't touch. Wood, shingles, shakes. Concrete tile, you can if you know where to step. But my world was asphalt shingles. I usually inspect all my homes were just asphalt shingles, so I kind of lucked out. If you're doing tile, I guess there are some vantage points. You know, the valleys, it's probably one of them. And then you just, hey, take InterNACHI's drone course and get certified by the FAA and fly a drone. Can I get the home inspection report to look at? Yeah, it'll be on NACHI TV, NACHI.tv. All my classes are recorded with slides and the inspection report. Very steep slopes? Yeah. No, I don't do very steep slopes. There are inspections to my restrictions. I try to get up on every roof. If I can't, I'm going to go up to the gable or eaves and inspect from there. Yep. How do you inspect without getting on the roof? You're required to. That's your problem. You're required to inspect the roof, or say that you can't see it at all. It's not part of this inspection. So your client knows that you did not inspect the roof. But if you're required, according to the standards of practice, to inspect the roof from the ground. You can do it from the ground very safely. Better than that is using a spectroscope you can get from inspectoroutlet.com. It's a pole with a Bluetooth camera connected to your device, and you can do video. You can zoom in, zoom out, take pictures, 4K pictures, and zoom in, right? And inspect the roof safely without ever leaving the ground. That's a good, you probably beat me. That probably beats a drone. Might beat me on a ladder if I can't get up on the roof, right? So there's a lot of advantages from using an inspectoscope. Would you still print reports on site while using, so we covered this before in the class. Simply ask your real estate agent, what do you want me to do after the inspection? And your agent, they're going to be a little bit different, so write little notes about agents, personal notes. When you enter your agent in the report, there's a little place for a personal note, or you'll just remember, this agent wants a summary printed, wants 3 copies. That's usually what I did. I did 3 copies. I don't know why. One for the seller, one for the client, one for the agent, I think it was. And that was their task list, their negotiating list. We're going to negotiate these things away, you know? So boom, 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 boom. Not the entire report for every client. I would ask my client, would you stay if I print the entire report? Would you appreciate that? Most said yes, so I did it. And I put it in the binder, right? And this is overhead, but I increased my fees so I can pay for this stuff. My client actually paid for me to print reports. It all depends. One of the exercises that we do in the home inspection business course is we ask you to ask the real estate agents, what is the best inspection in your opinion? What happens on a really good inspection at the end? What kind of inspection report do you want to receive? Yada, yada, yada. And then you provide that service. You don't know what they need. Why don't you ask them what they need and then provide what they're asking for? That's perfect business sense. Do you recommend a printer? Well, you know, there's a lot of printers out there. I like Brother personally, but you know, that's a difficult one. Smoke detectors, bathrooms, sink, GFCI, exhaust, bathroom, shower. You know, it's almost like that. I turn on all the water. I look at the sink, hot, cold, flush the toilet, turn on the shower, turn on the tub, make sure everything is running all at the same time, turn everything off, look at the floor, see if I can move the toilet, looking for water damage, GFCI, vent, light, try to reset the GFCI. Okay, I'm done. Only a couple minutes per bathroom. That's why when I'm at the interior, I know basically done with the inspection in total. And fingers crossed means a defect. So there is a problem with this door. It actually, the stopper doesn't work. The doorknob hits the wall. So I'm down to little details too, because I'm so efficient with my work. Boop. Water shutoff valves, GFCI, tub, heat lamp, window, ventilation, bedrooms, a ceiling fan wobbles a little bit, or, you know, windows tilt in, double pane, vinyl, doors, representative number, not all the windows, not all the switches, not all the receptacles, representative number, flush the toilet, run the sink, do the tub, do the shower, same thing over and over again. When you have the same process based upon your standards of practice, and you put that standards of practice as a template in here that you can customize in your inspection report, you simply have a checklist that you follow. You can't make a mistake because you are following, did I flush the toilet? Did I run the sink? Oh, I forgot the shower. Oh my goodness, shower. So this checklist helps you reduce your liability, helps you reduce your mistakes, helps you become more accurate and professional. And you're writing the report as you inspect. So you get really fast and efficient. And remember, when you're fast and efficient, remember that fraction we talked about? earlier in the class, gross revenue divided by your time. You want that denominator as small as possible. You want to be efficient with your time. Squeeze the denominator. All the interior looks good. Okay, you get the idea? Just taking pictures, looking at things, representative number. I'm basically done with the interior. The garage has 2 garage door openers. 1, 2, they both open, laser, eyes, they automatically reverse, secured, plugged in, nice. GFCI receptacles in the garage need to be protected, and there's a refrigerator plugged in one of them. So I want to make sure I plug that back in and reset the GFCI. I also, in my report, I have a standard paragraph. When I find a refrigerator or a freezer plugged into a garage receptacle, it's probably going to be removed from the garage during the sale, during the move. But if it stays, I want to warn my client about plugging a refrigerator in the garage receptacle that is protected by a GFCI. Sometimes they trip, and then you lose everything. I'm looking for bugs, termites, a lot of inspection restrictions. These need to be frost-proof. Now I'm in the kitchen. This is very easy. I'm wrapping up. I'm big smiles because I'm about to get paid about $650. Garbage disposal, hot and cold water, trap, electrical. There's the garbage disposal, GFCIs, dishwasher. I run the dishwasher, short cycle, gas range, gas oven. I don't let my hand leave the oven door. I make sure that the gas range is on and the oven turns on. Everything's good. Okay, turn it off. I'm not measuring temperature. I just want to see if it functions. Hood. I provide some time to summarize with my client and their agent. There's the summary sheet. You already saw this before. It's very short. There's a clogged gutter, no service record, recent service record on HVAC, and the water conditioning system should be serviced because it's beyond the scope of my own inspection. At 11:01, I get paid with a credit card. You can get a swipe thing, and get a merchant account through one of our partners. Very affordable. When you take credit cards, everyone has a credit card, a lot of money. And I like to take credit cards because everyone has them and they're comfortable with doing that. And I get to see the money, or I get to realize the money that day. And it's if you have a system in place, you can balance your checking account as well. And if you don't have any options, you don't know where to get a merchant account and credit card swiping and all that stuff, go to nachi.org/merchant. nachi.org/merchant is where you can find information on getting the best merchant account for you. So we have a calculator to figure out how much it's going to cost based upon fees and how many inspections you do during the year. My inspection report. From the very beginning, we already saw the roof. So there's the roof pictures. Page 5, page 6, page 7. There's a clogged gutter, puddles near the foundation, driveway, vinyl siding, GFCIs. Can't turn on the light. Garage. No signs of water penetration. There's the heating system. It's like reading a short story about the home. And the story, my story is written in my report. It's my little story book. And it's broken up into chapters, which are the systems of the home. It's a combination of systems and rooms. So you'll see we did the roof system, the exterior system, now we're HVAC system, and we'll keep going, electrical system, and then we'll do into rooms like bathrooms, interior rooms, kitchen. Those are rooms. So it's a combination. And there's my pictures. So there's 3 across of the HVAC system, and then components. There's a thermostat, electrical shutoff switch, gas shutoff valve, gas burners, the air filter, the service record is missing, observation, the heating system may not be, the basement may not be conditioned properly because there's only one little register down there. There's some inspection restrictions, and I kind of estimate the age. And there's the air conditioner, 3 across of the unit, appears level, estimated age. Here's the interior evaporator coil, condensate drain is not doing very well, and the system needs to be serviced and cleaned. Plumbing, there's the drain waste vent pipes, the types of material and the condition of those pipes. There's public water supply and the water meter and the shutoff valve and the check valve and expansion tank. I kind of explained that. And the jumper cable in there. These are all things I didn't write with my thumbs during the inspection. They're written in a template that's customizable with your software, and they already exist on your device. And all you have to do is select it. You click it, and the sentence pops in there. Get ready to take a picture, and that picture slides right with that sentence. That's what happens here, okay? Hot water tank, 3 pictures across, size, age, water shutoff valve. Remember, there aren't a whole lot of things wrong. I'm just kind of taking pictures of things I know I'm going to put in the report, typically my hand identifying, touching something, because you know what it looks like. You know what a gas shutoff valve looks like, but your client may not. And if you don't put your hand in for scale in the picture, they don't know. They actually don't know what that is. It could be a huge, big valve, a big handle thing. It could be really small. So put your hand in there. It's really for scale. There's a softener. There's an electrical system, electrical meter, 200 amps, inadequate clearance in front of the panel. I open up the panel. There's nothing wrong inside. Inspection sticker. There's the basement. Basement pictures, a lot of inspection restrictions. The type of floor. There are no signs of water penetration, active water penetration. Sump pump discharged. There's the attic. I can get maybe 6 or 9 pictures a page. So it looks kind of good. I like the way that looks. And remember, your home inspection report is your best marketing piece. So I'm actually writing it with that in mind. I want it to look good so that when someone looks at it later on, they have all the information they need to hire me again. This looks like a good, thorough home inspection. I'm going to hire this person. Missing insulation at the attic access panel. The bathrooms. So I did the systems, and now we're kind of like in the rooms categories or chapters. There's a chapter of bathrooms. There's first floor bathroom, second floor bathroom, master bathroom. There's the laundry room. Laundry room is a separate chapter, right? There's the kitchen. Kitchen has its own section. And I turn everything on. And then the interiors, it's pretty easy. Nothing really going on. And then I add a paragraph about the advantages to my client being with me during the inspection. My client was not with me. There's a couple reasons. I like to get rid of all the questions that you have, during the inspection, because I really don't want to spend a lot of time in the evening answering questions that could have been answered had you shown up, right? And there's also a missed opportunity if you have questions later on or things that you want in the report and you weren't with me. Well, you missed that opportunity, right? And I can't go back. I can make an addendum to the report, but no one really likes that. I don't have a lot of time. I can't go back and take a picture. It's kind of missed opportunity. And I want to express that in my inspection report, that they decided not to be with me during the inspection. Report conclusion, a letter to the seller saying that we wore indoor shoes only and that we checked 500 things and tried to put everything back, including the thermostat and things like that. And then here's a marketing piece. So we have a marketing department. InterNACHI has a marketing department. It's InterNACHI member marketing department. The marketing department works for our members to come up with creative things to help with your marketing. And if you're willing to consider a few things, they're kind of cool. Like here's one for a leave behind for the seller. It says, thank you for allowing us to inspect your home. Look inside. You look, the seller, you leave this on a dining room table or something. The seller opens this up. Oh, and your business card is here. We really appreciate you. You open it up, and there is anything you want. Business card, flyer, candy. I don't know. It's really cool. Like, you can't not open that up. This is your opportunity to send a customized message to the seller of the home. Why? Because most sellers are going to be home buyers. They're moving typically within the same neighborhood sometimes. So a lot of my clients were actually the seller of the home that I inspected. Some other things, like if the kids come on a Saturday, give them one of these things. This is from InterNACHI, and it's a little like activity book. Color in. There's a maze, and so you can get a bunch of these and pass them out during the inspection. Marketing about, I talked about this before, but if you joined a little bit late. So ancillary inspections is where profit is. So inside my binder that I give my clients are these things. They're called rack cards because they can stick in a rack. But it also helps you sell ancillary services. A lot of home inspectors are not really good at selling things. So if I were in the basement and it was a bit moldy and musty, and I wanted to sell a mold inspection, well, you have to tell your client. They don't know what they want. So you have to kind of tell them that mold damages what it grows on. And the longer it grows, the more damage it can cause. So let me inspect your home for mold while I'm here. Here, why don't you read this and take a look at it, and I'm going to finish up my inspection of the basement. And if you want me to do a mold test, I got it right in my truck, and it's a certain fee, and I can have the results in a few days. You cannot see or smell or taste radon, but it may be a problem in your home. Let me test for radon while I'm here. So these things are marketing pieces that you can stick in your best marketing piece, your home inspection report binder. You can also use it to help you sell ancillary services where you can realize some additional revenue. And if it doesn't add to your time, then that's probably a good calculation that it's profitable to offer ancillary services. Got a bunch of tools here, but I kind of like the 4-inch sphere. That's pretty cool. The tool bag, here's an InterNACHI tool bag. This is the actual tool bag that I used. It's the same type. This is a new one, but it's got the InterNACHI logo on it. It's got pockets on the outside for your tools, and it holds just about everything, including my infrared camera. It has a shoulder strap too, and this is the first thing I drop off at the front door when I arrive so that everybody knows that I'm here. Also, you can get apparel from InterNACHI, or you can make your own. I like this because this was on the back. This is the front. On the back, I didn't put my business on my back because I showed up early for every inspection. I wanted everybody to know that the guy snooping around the property is an inspector. Don't shoot. And also the home maintenance book. Like we have the standard home maintenance book, but this home maintenance book is also customizable. We also have a Florida one and a Spanish one, but they're also customized. You can customize them for the same price. They're the same price in certain quantity. So these guys customize theirs. These look really pro. There's a custom home maintenance book. And we do all of the marketing design work. So all of this design work is done by our marketing department based upon what you want. There's the inspector there with the dog, which is brilliant. Most homeowners have dogs. Most people in the United States have dogs. So if you can get a picture of your dog in your marketing, that's a good connection. And all the design work is free. So we do all this design work. We'll design a logo for you. We'll redesign a logo for you. We'll design and customize your business card, your flyers, your brochures, and all that design work is free once you place an order. Questions? Do you ever have to inspect main drains by putting a camera down them? What type of camera is needed for this? It's a sewer scope that you're talking about, and we have a class at the House of Horrors. It's called the sewer scope class. We have a logo once you get trained and certified by InterNACHI. That's one of the best new upcoming ancillary services. So members asked for a training course, and so we provided it. Members also asked for a drone course, and we're releasing one in May. So that's called a sewer scope, Yelena. Do you say in your report, it looks good? Yeah. Take my inspection reports as with a grain of salt. I write my inspection reports like I speak. I never liked grabbing someone else's narratives and copy pasting them into my inspection report. I write my inspection report the way I talk. And I'm from Pittsburgh, and we talk in a certain different way. And I say good and bad in short sentences like that, so my client knows what I'm saying. Like if I identify this is a shutoff valve, good, all right, that's a good thing, because they kept asking me, well, what does that mean? This is a shutoff valve. Should we shut it off? I'm like, oh, no, this is just a good thing. This is good. Oh, that's good. And if it drained, is that a good thing? Yeah, it's good. So if you look at my inspection reports, you can freely use anything that I write, but my recommendation is write your own narratives. It's going to take you a couple weeks to get it just right. And you'll probably crash and burn, which means your software isn't going to do what you wanted it to do. So you have to go home at night, work at night, don't watch TV. Forget about, if you're in business right now, you do not have a favorite TV show, right? So you work at night. So tweak your report narratives in the way you want. Did you used to offer an age range regarding the roof if there was no definite info on it? Yeah. Why? Because I try to estimate the roof and the age of the heating, cooling system, and hot water tank, because my clients just kept asking me, and I was allowed by Pennsylvania law to do so. So I just gave them a guess. I had a really nice disclaimer in my agreement and in my inspection report. Said I'm really just guessing. I actually said this is just a guess. I have no idea, but it looks like it's 10 years old. They kept asking me to give them an age, and I never say no. So do you recommend having a section just for shutoff locations? Only in the plumbing section, because it should be in the plumbing section, but that's my opinion. It could be worthless to you. So it's really up to you. What does your client want to know? If they're really into shutoff valves, yeah, I'd make it a separate chapter. These are all the shutoff valves. That'd be kind of cool, actually. There's the water shutoff valve, there's the gas shutoff valve, there's the electric shutoff, there's the, GFCI reset, and it's in a chapter of its own. That's kind of a cool idea. The IR camera inspection, you charge for the service? No, never did. So I charged, my idea is two ways to do this. You can charge additional fees for additional ancillary services. That's good. Or what I did was I added overwhelming value to my core home inspection service. And I did that by adding things that my clients would appreciate, would perceive as incredible value, that didn't add to my time, and actually made me a better inspector. The classic example is my infrared camera. This is $500. Infrared helps a home inspector do a better job. You don't have to buy a really expensive camera. And it also adds value to my inspection service. So I never charged extra for using this device that made me a better inspector. And it had this brand. I became the home inspector who used infrared and didn't charge for it. I did charge for it. If I added value to my service, then I could demand higher prices. So I went from $329 to $369, simply for adding infrared. Essentially, my clients were paying me to use my infrared camera. It's brilliant. I thought it was great, and it worked out really well. I never paid for a home maintenance book, right? I just raised my fee $5. I did raise my fee $5 and allowed my clients to buy their own home maintenance book and my coffee, right? So in business, if the perceived value is greater than the cost, then it's a good decision. Have you ever gone to a store, a clothing store, and went shopping for men's watches? So you go to the men's watch display, right? And there's 100 watches. And some of them were $10. Some of them are $1,000, right? The secret that you may not know is that the cost of manufacturing any of those 100 watches is just about the same. There's a certain manufacturing cost. It costs this much to manufacture just about any watch, although I think the Germans would tell you something different. But it's about the same, right? It certainly isn't that varied from $10 to $1,000. Okay, so this watch company manufactures watches, sells them for $10, but this watch over here costs about the same to manufacture it, but they demand $1,000. Why? Perceived value. They all tell the time, but this one demands a bigger fee, demands $1,000 because of the perceived value that it's showing me. And that's what you're up to. You have to add value to your service so that you can demand higher prices, because essentially we're all doing the same thing. We're all home inspectors, and we're basically doing the same inspection, providing the same service, a visual inspection within a couple hours and writing a report upon the material defects that I observed. That's it. That's all. We do all of them. It's called, for homework, do we have homework? Yeah, your homework, look up the word commodity. I'll write it for you. Commodity. Oh, commodity. There it is. You don't want to be in the world of commodity. Commodity is everything is the same. One home inspector can be interchangeable with another home inspector. There's no big difference. The only difference is price. And people tend to choose the cheapest price. They tend to buy the cheaper watches, right? But some of us buy the most expensive watches, right? Some of us can demand the higher prices. It's essentially a commodity. Watches are a commodity. But some watches demand a higher price because of the perceived value. And that's what we're into at InterNACHI Member Marketing. We're trying to figure out for you, we have all these things, product, services, consultation, to figure out what your brand is and why your potential client would see what you offer as incredible value in relation to the cost. If someone looks at your services, your website, your home inspection report, and goes, I don't know, the value is kind of close to the cost, you have a problem with your brand and your messaging and your marketing, right? That's why I try to think as much as possible to try to overwhelm my clients with value so that I can demand higher prices. And that's where you want to keep going. Keep pushing your prices up. So look up the word commodity. You do not want to be a commodity. You don't want to work in the world of commodity. And you only distinguish yourself from commodity by trying to figure out what differentiates me from all the rest. So you want to be that $1,000 watch. Another homework assignment is go to NACHI TV. There you'll see all the recorded classes with downloadable materials and free registration for future classes. And I also have a Facebook page. Click on that. And I thank you for an awesome class. That was a 2-hour class, or a little bit more than that if you came early. If you have any questions, I'm on the contact page. My name is Ben Gromicko. That was really fun. Thanks for the great questions. That was a lot of fun. I'll see you in class next time. Bye, everybody.